Hello and welcome to the final Premier League game of the season. Liverpool, of course, knowing they can finish today as Premier League champions for the second time in 3 seasons. I'm Guy Clarke, alongside me, Theo Squires, here on the Blood Red YouTube channel as we build up to kick off at 4 o'clock. The Liverpool team is out. You can see it across the bottom of the screen, but Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah not involved in the starting 11, both on the bench. Theo's live at Anfield. The tune's already playing out. Theo, what's the atmosphere been like inside the ground, but also outside today?
Yeah, it's been a great atmosphere outside. I was there as the coach came in. Fans in, good voice, plenty of flares. Created quite the image when you can't see anything because of all this red smoke, and the coach just emerges through the middle, going into the players' entrance. But fans are excited, as you'd expect. At the same time, probably not expecting to win the Premier League today. But you can imagine what the atmosphere will be like if you get word from City that they're losing, or if they're drawing with 5 minutes to go and Liverpool getting the result they need. The anxiety that would have been there a couple of years ago before they'd won this Premier League title is gone completely. It's just about enjoying what has been a brilliant season for this club. Whether they end it with 2 trophies, 3 trophies, or all 4. Fans are already coming to the stadium around me here. Plenty of shirts, plenty of songs outside as well. They're going to enjoy the day, whatever happens. Fingers crossed that we have a nice set of results for it to go Liverpool's way. If not, it's just a special team and a special year.
Yeah, most certainly. Let's have a look at those scenes then as the bus came into Anfield just a moment or so ago. That the bus arriving at Anfield a short while ago, and as well as Theo, we plenty of reporters across the ground today at Anfield. Included in those is Blood Red's very own Matt Addison outside the ground, building up to this afternoon's 4 o'clock kickoff.
Hello and welcome to Anfield, the end of another Premier League season for Liverpool, and of course they can just about still win the quadruple. 2 domestic cups already in the bag for them, but a win against Wolves today of course could be the Premier League title if Manchester City fail to win against Steven Gerrard, Felipe Coutinho and Danny Ings' Aston Villa. Plenty to play then for Liverpool today. Of course we expect a strong team with next week's Champions League final in mind as well. A trial run, if you like, against Real Madrid, though of course we have to wait and see whether the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah are both risks for Reds today ahead of that match next week. Elsewhere, of course, it could be a fond farewell to Anfield from Divock Origi. It looks like he is going to be heading to AC Milan in the summer on a free transfer. He of course scored the winner against Wolves in the reverse fixture earlier on this season. Plenty to look out for then today at Anfield. We're just about to see the bus come in. Plenty more stuff across Blood Red, the Liverpool Echo and Liverpool.com across the rest of the afternoon. Make sure you check it all out across all of the usual channels.
There was Matt ahead of the bus arriving, and Theo there, he mentioned about the team news and Divock Origi potentially being involved today, though not a place on the bench for him. It won't be kind of maybe that fairy tale farewell he was hoping for. He misses out today.
Yeah, he's apparently got a minor injury, which is a shame. I'm sure he'd have got the warmest of welcomes when he comes on for like 5-10 minutes, that cameo at the end. But at the same time, as good as a relationship Jurgen Klopp has with all of his players, he's not very sentimental. Like you think when they won the league before, Adam Lallana was welcomed back on the bench for the clincher against Chelsea, I think, when they got the medals, or maybe whichever one it was. But he didn't come on, did he? Like there'll be the reports this week. Origi's off. We know he's seemingly set to join AC Milan. Maybe I just don't want to risk you. Like, you don't want to jeopardise that transfer for him. You've done so much for the club. He's going to come out. You'd imagine if we could do something nicer in pre-match or half-time, so we can just get the applause from the fans, because he has contributed so much to the club over the last few years. And it's not just the heroics against Barcelona and Tottenham Hotspur. If they win the Premier League this season, how vital was his winner against Wolves back in December proving to be? Last-minute goal there. He's got quite a good record against Wolves. Shame he's not going to be extending it today. But yeah, he's got such a good Liverpool career, and everyone will wish him well when he goes where we're looking like it'll be AC Milan. As long as he doesn't score against them if they face off in the Champions League next year. But he's been a great servant. It's a shame he won't get that send-off today. He did get a brief one at Southampton. It's just one of those, isn't it? Minor injury. He could genuinely have a knock, and we might see him in the Champions League final next weekend. Or it could be the end for Divock Origi. Don't want to take any unnecessary risks with that big transfer for him looming.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I mean, he's written his name into Liverpool legend in so many ways. And you mentioned before, kind of, there isn't that feeling of anxiety around the place. It is kind of more joy and hope. Obviously, today, the permutations being that Liverpool have to be there to capitalise if Man City are to slip up at home to Aston Villa. We know very well the narrative that is there with Steven Gerrard, Felipe Coutinho, and Danny Ings, all amongst the Aston Villa number. But I suppose when you look at the Liverpool team selection today, no Van Dijk and no Salah in there from the start with the knocks they're carrying, it kind of does hint towards the priority already is the Champions League final. And today, it's hold up their end of the bargain for the Reds and just see if the pieces fall their way.
Yes, I think it's what it had to be. If you're choosing any Liverpool team for the big game, your first three players on the team sheet are probably Salah, Van Dijk and Fabinho. But they've built a squad this season that is so strong. You can take these chances of, right, we're not going to risk you. Just sit on the bench. If we need you, you can come on. If the game's done, we can give you 15 minutes to get some rhythm in your legs. They don't need to plaster them up and risk them when they've got the big decider next week. Like, the Premier League is won over 38 matches. If Liverpool win the title today or they don't, it's not going to be because of what happens today. It'll be over the whole course of the season. Whereas the 90 minutes in Paris or 120 in penalties, that is what is going to decide that game. That is going to decide who's going to be European champions. That's what you want Van Dijk for. That's what you want Salah for. But not bad alternatives to have, are there? When you think Matip and Ibrahima Konate are started. Matip's won Champions League. He's on the Premier League. Konate's had a superb first season for Liverpool. The front three, Diaz, Mane, Jota. You run out of superlatives for these guys. And Jota against his former club, he'll surely like to get a goal to his name. Mane's got a good record against Wolves as well, and a good record on the last day of the season. And Diaz is just in a league of his own. If we're in this situation again next year, you wouldn't be surprised if you're saying he's Liverpool's best player, because he has had such a good start to his Reds career. Liverpool's squad depth speaks for itself, to the extent that you're not worried that Van Dijk's on the bench. You're not worried that Salah's on the bench. If anything, you take it as a positive, because it means it's a step in the right direction for him to be able to feature in Paris. But the squad's strong enough with or without him at this point.
Yeah, definitely. You got the comment on screen. As a Liverpool fan, City Villa is more interesting because of the result of that game seals the fate of the Premier League title. A lot of drama. And I imagine, Theo, that's exactly what you're expecting, sat in the Anfield press box this afternoon, that there is going to be drama aplenty.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be watching this game, but it's definitely going to be all eyes on the Etihad, isn't it? Just hoping that there's that twist. Like, it's the filmmakers' end to the season, isn't it? You want that narrative. You want Steven Gerrard to topple Man City. You want Felipe Coutinho to score the goal that wins Liverpool the league. Having essentially his transfer built this team in the first place, when you think that spine was thanks to him departed in the money they got from Barcelona. I'm sure we're going to have whispers of goals at the Etihad a number of times throughout the afternoon. You just have to hope it's not City are 2-0 up after 10 minutes, that there's at least a bit of drama all day long. Because they were in this situation, was it 3 years ago? There was like a 10-minute spell when Liverpool would have been champions, but City scored. Brighton had taken the lead. Klopp said in his press conference last week, as soon as he heard the noise, it was too early and that City would come back and win. You expect something similar today. But then never write Liverpool off. And when you think of the history Steven Gerrard has, Coutinho has, even Danny Ings, the fans were chanting Steven Gerrard's name outside when they were waiting for the team coach. Danny Ings, he should have scored a hatful against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. I think he's due a goal. And then Coutinho, it'll be the sweetest of twists if he could have a decisive play on the title race today. But Man City are just so good. It's more hope than expectation.
That is the thing, isn't it? Is and said it before already. Kind of Liverpool just have to do their job, and I mean, the argument I've kind of hadn't heard with people over the last few days was if this was a game that took place in kind of October, November time, Man City at home to Aston Villa, you would know the result, but you just wonder if nerves are going to play a part and what impact it could well have.
Yeah, and I suppose that the Champions League exits played a part in that as well. The fact that City can be in control of a game until the 90th minute and then somehow get eliminated. Like, the pressure would have been on from there to reach Champions League final, and the pressure's on them today to get it over the line. But then the City team have been in a situation time and time again, and normally they deal well with the pressure, and this is the sort of game where they run out 4-0 winners. If this Villa side wasn't a Steven Gerrard Villa side, if they didn't have Coutinho, if they didn't have Ings, there wouldn't be that added hope on maybe it could be a final twist in Liverpool's favour. But there's just so many extra narratives here that you're hoping that it does work out well. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting afternoon for both teams. You've seen Doyley there in the background. I'm sure he's getting excited about this one as well. You know how much he loves the hype of if Coutinho scores the goal that wins the league for Liverpool. We shall see.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's getting too excited at the end of the day. It is Ian Doyle. Final point I want to make on just the team news, though, quickly, is you see Konate and Matip in there alongside one another today. Is it kind of, I suppose, the audition for the two of them to see which one will be picked for Paris?
Yeah, I'd say so. But then, as we've been saying for a number of weeks now, there's not really any difference between them. There obviously is in style, but you have no issue with either of them starting. It was Matip for the FA Cup final. That was maybe a slight surprise because Konate for the FA Cup final, slight surprise because you think you go for Matip's experience. But then if it had been the other way around, you think Konate had started throughout that cup run. They've both had such good seasons. It's been the best of Matip's Liverpool career. We were saying this in the week, weren't we? Like, what a good signing he's been for Liverpool as a free transfer from Schalke. Here, now as the goalkeepers come out for Liverpool. Alisson, that's something else we've not discussed today. Salah could get the Golden Boot, he could get the Playmaker Award. But Alisson, if he gets a clean sheet, he's got the Golden Glove Award. He's level with Ederson, having played the game less, I think. But there's so much riding on these two games today. Be interesting to see what happens in the next hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, definitely. Well, David says title goes in the last few seconds to Liverpool. What a finale that one would be. But it says Villa playing a diamond. Gerrard wants to be secure today. We will have to wait and see then how that does play out. Before we go, though, let's just hear from some Liverpool fans outside the ground on their thoughts as today and how it could play out.
My head says no, but my heart is just trying to convince me that it's going to happen today.
Coutinho in the last minute.
Yeah.
Puts in the top corner and Villa win. Also we're beating Wolves. So that's my dream anyway.
In terms of the Liverpool team, then, which players are you looking forward to seeing, obviously ahead of next week's final?
I think Diaz has been amazing. He's hit the ground running. We love him. We've watched him all season. Well, since he joined, and he's been fantastic. He just doesn't give up. And he's a fantastic quality player and a bargain.
And I think for me it's been Thiago. We're just lucky enough to watch him play week in, week out. It's been our first season with a season ticket this year, and to watch all these players, these top class players, we're so lucky.
And I've got to ask you about Divock Origi as well, just to finish. What's your favourite Divock Origi moment?
Well, I think most people talk about Barca and Everton, of course, but I think this year that Wolves winner this in like the 90th minute this season could be so massive, and he's come up so many times, and there's still an opportunity for him to do it a couple more times this season.
Do you reckon we'll see him today?
I hope so. I hope he comes on and makes it about 4 or 5-0.
Get a big reception.
Get a big reception, yeah. Just as Stevie G's put his boots on and put himself on as a sub at the Etihad.
And lastly, then we'll go for yourself first, and then you. Score prediction for today?
I'm hoping it'll be comfortable, a 3-0 win today.
I'll go 4.
Can't hear you there, Guy. Your audio's got a bit dodgy.
Right. I don't know if you can.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, right. Brilliant. I was going to say 3 or 4-0, as those guys were saying, would be absolutely fantastic for Liverpool. No Divock Origi, though. I'm sure he'll come onto the pitch for the lap of honour at the end of the game and be given a great send-off. What's your prediction for today?
I'm going to say 2-0. I think it's a very Liverpool end of the season feel. That's what they normally do. Mane gets a brace, they win 2-0. Surely they got to win. It's just what the atmosphere around this place does to the players today. like if they hear whispers that City are losing or if they are still drawing in the 89th minute, whether Liverpool feel a bit of pressure there, or they can just end on a high and go and put a few past Wolves. But you don't need to win by 6. It's not going to go down to goal difference, really. It is just going to be a case of get the win that you need and hope that this is enough to put the pressure on City so they drop points. A comfortable 2-0 would suit me.
Yeah, let's wait and see how it does play out then. You can see Ian Doyle there alongside Theo. Paul Gorst also in the press box for the Echo today. Head across to the Echo website for all of the live going-ons. And remember, here on Blood Red, we will bring you Jurgen Klopp's post-match press conference following the game, where hopefully Liverpool will be celebrating as champions of the Premier League. But for myself, Guy Clarke, and Theo Squires, thanks for your time and your company here on Blood Red. Until full time, for now.